several years ago, I actually was a principal of a school and really believe in the foundation of relationships and how important that is to the work that we do. And I saw that, and I actually saw technology as kind of a hindrance to that, because I would walk into a computer lab, kids would not be talking to one another, they would do typing stuff or whatever, they'd be playing math games. Yeah, there's no conversation. So it was just basically a relationship between the child and the computer. And I'm like, this is not what we need to do. Like, because this kid can do this without us. There's got to be something more. And so I was hearing a lot of hype about, the idea of social media and what I was doing. And then someone challenged me, it was actually Will Richardson, in a conversation I had with him, to say like, how can you be a leader in your school yet not share what you're learning? If you are really truly that leader, you need to share those things. And so I took that challenge to heart and started connecting myself. And I created, I started a Twitter account, did that for a little while. And then once I got to the point where I was comfortable in reading other people's blogs, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to actually start my own blog, have an understanding of it, and share it as a portfolio. And so I've actually tailored it years ago to the Alberta Principal Quality Standard, which is actually very similar to the Ontario Leadership Framework. We have 7 qualities. It's not like we're 2 better than you because you only have 5. They just have, they're just different. But they all kind of say the same thing. But everything that I do, I somehow tie to like that leadership framework. And so even at the Institute coming up, we're going to really kind of get into the notion of portfolios and talk about how leaders can actually create this for themselves. And there's dual purpose. The idea is actually having an understanding of your own growth and your learning of what you do as a leader, but also being able to understand how to implement this as in your schools. Because we have a ton of people, and especially in Ontario, trying to move forward with digital portfolios. You have a ton of people trying to teach something they've never done, which is terrifying to me because I would never hire a math teacher if they never learned math. If they never taught math, that might be different. But if they've never actually learned it, that to me is really scary. And that's where we're at, where the abundance of some of the things that we're teaching right now, we have never actually learned ourselves. And so how do we get to that point? And so we either teach it wrong or we don't teach it. And that's what I'm scared about. So I think this is why it's so important and why I jumped in the first place to actually start learning and sharing these things myself. So I started this blog myself and saw the value of sharing. But Twitter was kind of a place where basically teachers would go and share ideas, but they would also complain about principals because they were thinking, my principal is not smart enough to actually use Twitter, so this is a safe place for me to complain about them. And so once some principals started coming on, it started changing that conversation because they didn't paint us all with the same brush. And I started actually sharing things and connecting other people through Connected Principals. And if you go to connectedprincipals.com, and I'm not trying to sell a book or trying to sell this website. It's a totally free resource. I have people all over the world that share to it. I actually pay money to host it in the first place because what I wanted to show people was there's this really great opportunity for people to come together, share ideas about what's happening in leadership circles, and learn from them. So I really encourage people to share some things that they shared on their own blog and post it here. So it's kind of like a best of resource. And you can go to connectedprincipals.com, or you can actually go to #CPChat. And I'm just going to write that link in there. And you can go to this link or this hashtag at any point and share with other leaders. And if you're a superintendent level or a director level that's in this room, there's also SUPT chat, which is something that actually started after Connected Principals, and it was very much modeled after kind of the same thing, where you can actually learn from administrators. And especially as a principal, when I started, I felt extremely isolated because there's only one. There's only one in your school. And so who do you go to? And I had a great admin team. But, at the end of the day, as a principal, a lot of those decisions, were on my shoulders. Even if they were made by one of my APs, I was always the one signing off at the end of the day. So I wanted to make sure that I was getting great ideas and actually connecting with people and, learning from the best. And as a brand new principal with no experience, all of a sudden I'm tapping into people with experience, 20, 25 years of being a principal and learning from them. And why would I not take that opportunity? And this isn't, some dude writing a book about it on his research. This is actually practicing relevant principles. And I think that is where this power comes in, is that we so often talk about the experts being the people that are not even in schools. And I'm seeing the experts are the ones that are actually in the schools doing the work. And we need to start connecting with one another. And that's why I was so passionate about creating something like this. And like I said, you can go to CP Chat at any time. You can see this and see what is happening with people there, what they're sharing. But you can use it as a kind of like what I would say a bat signal. So if you have a question that you want to pose to people, you can use, I'm looking for social media guidelines for a school, #CP Chat. And if you just throw that out there, some administrator has already done that work. And that's what we're hoping happens with the ONT Ed leaders, because you have a unique, every province has unique standards and has unique things that they're doing. And especially with your leadership framework, some of the initiatives that are happening, how do you build this, robust network where you're all looking to one another and sharing these ideas? And I'm already seeing a ton of people, share in English and French to the ONT Ed leaders hashtag, and we're really excited to see what happens here, because it's not about us, it's about you.